although we all see Father Joe coming and going in the parish for years now, how much do we actually know about him? And when I was researching the book, bringing the parish history up to date, I discovered a lot of things which I wouldn't mind betting most of us didn't know. So, before the poem, there's a little potted history of the Monsignor's career. Monsignor Joe was ordained on the 7th of April 1973, wait for this now, at St. Paul's outside the walls in Rome. No. Attached to the Diocese of Plymouth, he was appointed to Dartmoor Prison, as well as 3 hospitals and parish work. In 1976, he was appointed to Exmouth, Devon, to 3 churches, Exeter Prison and Marine Camp. The prisons feature an awful lot very early in his career, don't they? In 1984, he was elevated, those are his words, elevated to the parish priest Portland, and as well as the parish, his work included the care of 2 prisons, a school, a hospital, and port chaplain to the Royal Navy. In 1986, the pinnacle of his career was reached when he was appointed to Stamford Hill, Swaleside and Emley, right here in the centre of the universe. In the 8 years that the Monsignor was there, he proved to be a little gem, because Father David had lost his curate and the curate was not being replaced, and Father was having a bad time keeping up with all the masses, especially with the summer mass out at Warden. And Monsignor Joe became our regular Saturday 6:30 mass, and we all enjoyed having him very much. But sadly it didn't last, and in 1994 the island lost Father Joe to Wormwood Scrubs. Okay, then in 1994, Father Joe was sent as chaplain to Wormwood Scrubs in prison. Is that better? In 1995, he was appointed Principal Roman Catholic Chaplain to all Her Majesty's prisons in England and Wales. Whoa! And in the same year, now I want a really big response to this one, okay? In the same year, he was honoured with the title of the Right Reverend Monsignor Joe Branson by none other than Pope John Paul II. Now, Monsignor Joe represented the UK prisons at the International Conference for Prison Chaplains in Poland. I hesitate to mention this, but in the, yes, I know, but in the follow-up of truth and honesty and everything, he did have a sidekick with him at that conference, whom we do actually know. Oh, he's over there. Without Breeze, he didn't have Breeze that time. The Monsignor was then elected, oh, wait for this one, I have had nightmares over this one this past week. The Monsignor was elected president of the ICCPPC. Wow. Thank you, Sue. I'd hoped a few more people would be impressed. For those who don't know, Sue, you and I are okay on this, yes, but for those who don't know, that is the International Commission for Catholic Prison Pastoral Care. Wow. And Monsignor represented 120 countries as the non-governmental officer at the United Nations in Geneva.
Did he have a badge?
Did he have what?
A badge?
I'm sure to, Sue, absolutely sure to. And he also had his 2 pennyworth input at the Justice and Peace Conference in the Vatican. He moves in high places, you know, doesn't he? In 2002, the Monsignor was retired due to ill health, but he still helps out with parish work whenever he can. And each time he comes back here, we're relieved to find that he's still our Father Joe. Oh, Monsignor he may be, but he's our Father Joe. And same wicked sense of humour, always with a tale to tell, always willing to talk endlessly to all and sundry. And he assures me that he loves coming back here. Monsignor, we love having you. The Monsignor once told me he considers this his second home. Monsignor considers this his second home. And I said, well, we consider you our second pastor. And to be second in command to that fellow over there is no mean feat. Sure it is. So, having said all that, and you know, this is really high-flying stuff, isn't it? What a CV, though, isn't it? Don't you think? So I thought then we'd come down a little bit in tone. Oh, right. I wrote a poem for the Monsignor once. I have a habit of doing that when things crop up. And he was kind enough to say that he enjoyed it. So I thought what better occasion than to give him another one. So, a tribute to the Monsignor. His jovial nature and love of a joke endears him fondly to all kind of folk. And he's always got a long story to tell, but he'll always listen to yours as well. He's had a lifetime of giving his love to the Lord, of caring and sharing here and abroad. So I thought on this special occasion I might just pen a few words to cast light on his past. His ordination was very high class in St. Paul's Basilica outside the walls. He spent time in Dartmoor, but not on the moors, in the prison itself, safe behind locked doors. But surely the height of his glory was 1986 in another locked prison, way out in the sticks, right on the island, destined to be named the centre of the universe by one equally famed. He was in prison for years on this isle, and I say that to you with a wink and a smile, because it makes him sound like he's a very bad lot, but he was really there to stop the place going to rot. To the priest in the big church, he was a treasure who gave his help freely, without cost or measure. My mum was always up front in the weekly procession of all the old crocks who wanted confession. And poor Father David was left in the lurch when Mum loudly confided to all in the church, "Father Joe's lovely in the box." That's true, that's absolutely true. Can praise come any higher than that? Well, not unless it's with a cardinal's hat. But all good things end, and here's the rub, because he was sent to Wormwood Scrubs. Then Father Joe was given the ruling hand over all the prisons in Wales and England. Next, we heard that Pope John Paul had made him Monsignor, to the joy of us all. He was then made president of ICCPPC. So off to the Vatican again went he. Well, if anybody else can do any better with all those initials, let me know, and I'll alter the poem. But though he's travelled the whole world over, still back to Sheppey comes this rover. He cares for us here when the cannon's away, and we love him dearly in every way. He tidies the place up each time that he's here, knowing full well it won't last till next year. And Breeze gets a trip for a cut and blow dry, though she doesn't appreciate nor understand why. We were very impressed when we heard he'd become a Monsignor, no less. And on his next visit, he made it quite clear. He said it out loud so we could all hear, his title has changed. But he wants us to know, to the centre of the universe, he's still Father Joe.